Hi everyone, welcome to another one of my Friday walk and talk. Maybe we'll make this a bit of a tradition on the Vital Mind Coaching Facebook, Instagram and YouTube pages. So the topic of reflection for today on this walk is understanding psychological health as how flexible we are. Our psychological flexibility and adaptability is a key determinant of our psychological / mental. You could also expand it to our spiritual health. And this comes from my thinking about physical health. And there's a concept in physical health, if you look at our metabolic health, of how adaptive our metabolic system is. So, for example, it's not so much of a problem that a person's blood sugar drops, but what's more problematic is if the blood sugar drops, the body, the metabolic system, doesn't have the resources, the capacity, the adaptability to bring the body back to homeostasis, back to a baseline. So in this example, for your blood sugars to be stabilized, your body to do what it needs to do, release the insulin, make sure there's enough glucose in the blood, not too much, not too little, sort of the Goldilocks rule. So from this perspective, health isn't a particular state that we're in, but it's how can we adaptively come out of a state that is not suitable or appropriate for the circumstance or not conducive to health. So in the example of psychological or mental health, let's take the example of panic. Panic on its own, or the experience of a panic attack, is not by definition a mental illness or disorder. It's a human experience. Where it becomes a disorder is when we get stuck in a fear-based state, thinking and worrying and anticipating the next panic attack, and we start to avoid, we start to develop what's called safety behaviors. So we become rigidly stuck in a maladaptive way of coping. Whereas if someone experiences a panic attack and is able to make sense of it, contextualize it, and come back to their usual baseline, that person by definition is manifesting a level of psychological health due to their flexibility, or the flexibility of their mind-body system in coming back into homeostasis. So what I'm getting at here is, it's not that we drop or dip into certain states, even though they may be distressing, that defines whether we're mentally or psychologically healthy or not. It's how can we adaptively come back up to a higher altitude or to a more functional baseline. How quickly can we recover, so to speak? So really, recovery is the key determinant of health, both physical and mental. And where we can go wrong when we're thinking about our psychological health is confusing going into a particular state, whether that's worry or anxiety or depression or getting flooded with a lot of thoughts of our inner critic. That in of itself does not mean we are not psychologically healthy or balanced. What determines the psychological health is how quickly can we come back, can we come out of that state by being able to observe it, by accessing resources. So it's not the state in of itself that determines our psychological health. It is essentially, are we getting stuck in those states? It's that level of rigidity So anything that helps us develop psychological flexibility, psychological agility, for us to become less rigid, that is going to be highly beneficial, and it's going to be a marker of our psychological and mental health. Ditto for our physical health, and the example I gave is of blood sugars. So practical take-home message from what I've been saying is that instead of focusing on a snapshot in time, where we are at any snapshot in time, we need to train ourselves to zoom out, to understand the context of what we're experiencing, and to consciously tap into tools and resources that can help us come back to a more functional altitude. Just as a skilled pilot, we wouldn't say that the pilot is unskilled or the plane is in bad shape if it experiences turbulence. It's, can the plane bounce back? Can the pilot, through his or her skill and know-how and capacity to access resources, re-stabilize the plane and ensure that there's a safe landing? Okay, I hope that's been helpful, and I hope that you have a good weekend. I look forward to seeing you again on one of these walks, or perhaps in a more formal setting where I record a more typical type of video. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.